George Russell stunned Ferrari duo Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc to take the first pole position of his Formula 1 career at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Sainz looked to have beaten Ferrari teammate Leclerc's pole, but Russell behind them on track came through to snatch pole position that looked hugely unlikely. Meanwhile, Mercedes struggled through all three of the weekend's practice sessions. World Championship leader Max Verstappen was tense after a power issue caused him to abort his final attempt at a flying lap, while Red Bull's misery was compounded by a Q2 exit for Sergio Perez, who will start 11th. Lando Norris then secured a place on the second row for McLaren ahead of the Alpines of Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso, while Lewis Hamilton could only manage 7th as a DRS problem saw him abort his flying lap. The surprise grid sets a potentially thrilling race on Sunday. Russell will be seeking for his first F1 victory. Ferrari are looking to reduce the 63-point lead held by Verstappen, who will no doubt have the designs on working his way back through the field. I'm over the moon, absolutely buzzing, said Russell. I mean, yesterday was arguably our worst Friday of the season. We worked so hard and we didn't know what direction to go in. Heavy rain and thunderstorms have been forecast for all of Saturday, but after a wet final practice, the rain stayed away for Quali. Given the only dry rowing teams had done was in intense Budapest sunshine on Friday, the dry yet cool conditions for qualifying meant there was a lot of mystery going into Saturday's afternoon shootout. Ferrari had looked quicker than Red Bull and all other cars throughout practice, but it was Mercedes who topped the time sheets, with Hamilton ahead of Russell in Q1 and Verstappen fastest in Q2. However, when we go into Q3, Ferrari seem to found their pace, with Sainz leading Leclerc after their first two runs in the final 12 minutes. That seems to still be the case as Sainz edged out Leclerc on the second run. Then Russell delivered a perfect lap to secure his team's first pole of the season, and what's been a hugely challenging one. Mercedes race pace has gradually improved throughout the season, with last weekend's French GP bringing their first double podium of the season, while Ferrari will be confident of overholding the Brett. A first win of the season for Silver Arrows cannot be ruled out. We're going to absolutely go for it, Russell added, but either way, this was a special day, no doubt. Last year, World Championship rivals were left with similar frustrations at the end of the session, both thinking that they could have ended up significantly higher on the grid. Verstappen appeared to have found his best pace of the weekend in the early stage of qualifying, but faltered with his first final lap in Q3, which was only good enough for 7th at that point. That left him with no room for error on the second run, but it was a car rebel and driver that failed Red Bull on the second occasion. The Dutchman reported on his outlet that he was suffering a power issue, and the team were unable to fix it in time for him to attempt another full-speed effort. He said, "I don't think it's a big issue, but something we couldn't solve on track." Well, that's very unfortunate. The turnaround from yesterday was amazing in a way that was positive about today. We understood what went wrong with the car and was so much better in terms of handling on a track that doesn't really suit us. Hamilton and Russell had apparently closely matched throughout the weekend, so when Russell crossed the line to take provisional pole, attention naturally turned to what the 7-time world champ was going to see, but by that point he aborted his lap due to a DRS failure. I tried to open the DRS and it wouldn't open, so that was a bit unfortunate. Hamilton explained, "I was feeling great, pole or front row was definitely there for sure. It would have been awesome to get front row, but these things happen. Congratulations to Stord, he did an amazing job, and it's a great result for the team given all we've gone through, so that's huge, so I'm really happy for everyone," the 7-time world champ said. Missing from the accelerating drama of Q3 was the second Red Bull Perez, who made a surprise Q2 exit after the series' strained event. The Mexican lost his time from his first run of the session after being adjudged to have reached track limits, only for them to be reinstated. While the lap wasn't have been good enough to get him through in any case, it appeared to cause confusion at Red Bull when he returned to track for another run. He was unable to improve sufficiently, complaining of being held up by Haas's Kevin Magnussen. Perez then watched from the garage as he was relegated to 11th in the final stages, leaving him to miss out on Q3 for just the second time this season. "It was very unfortunate," he said. "I missed out on Q3 by a few hundreds. Going into turn 2, I lost a lot with Kevin. It wasn't a great day for Red Bull's sister team AlphaTauri either, with both cars joining Williams cars and Sebastian Vettel in making Q1 exit. It was compounded a tough afternoon for Vettel, who announced on Thursday he will retire at the end of the season. The 4-time world champ crashed his Aston Martin in final practice, leaving his team needing to work out right until the last minute before the start qualifying to get the car ready. However, their work turned to be largely in vain as the German made a Q1 exit for the 4th time in 5 races. Okay, let me run you through the final classification of qualifying. George Russell ending up on pole. Who'd have seen that? But yeah, a brilliant job from him. Finally looked like when everyone around him had issues, the Mercedes delivered, and that's what they've done so well this season. Will they be able to hold on? I don't know. I think too fast charging for Isaac will be tough, but we'll have to see. It's a track you can't overtake on. Sainz has had a really good weekend, being faster than Leclerc, so that's great for him. Norris as well, 4th on the grid, brilliant for him, taking advantage of all the other opportunities. Needs to stay ahead of the Alpines though. Tomorrow, who 5th and 6th, Ocon nowhere, and then does a great job to come out top. Alonso as well, 6th, I think will be highlighted with that. Hamilton as well, he looked to be faster than Russell this weekend, so he'll be absolutely gutted gutted because that really could have been his first pole of the season. Bottas in 8th, great job for Alfa Romeo. Looks like those upgrades may be working quite well. Ricciardo in 9th, where you look where the McLaren and the Alpines are, I think that's disappointing for him. He wants to be higher than that. And then Verstappen and Perez 10th and 11th. Who saw that coming? Verstappen will be gutted, but yeah, of course you do have to partly blame it on him because he didn't get his first run in at the end of the day. Should really be higher than that. Perez in 11th. Yeah, I mean, like, just ever since Monaco, he's just been so poor, and something needs to change, really, because, yeah, this can't continue. And then you've got Joe in 12th, solid effort by him, but, yeah, not in the end, not quite enough for Q3. And then Magnussen and Stroll, maybe the Haas upgrade not working quite as they hope, but while they understand it, but Stroll, solid effort from him, way above teammate Vettel. Schumacher in 15th in the old Haas. Yeah, I mean, like, not too far behind Magnussen, so not a disaster. Tsunoda in 16th, Gasly in 19th. Tsunoda once again outpacing Gasly, but both AlphaTauris out in Q1. So yeah, I think they'll be really disappointed with that. And Gasly, yet again, performing really poorly at the moment. And then you've got Albon in 17th, Latifi in 20th. I had such high hopes for Latifi getting to a purple sector at the end of Q1, topping FP3, but in the end it never quite turned out for the GOATs. And then Albon in 17th. Yeah, the Williams seems to be getting a bit better, but still not that great. And Vettel in 18th. He was third when he crashed out in practice, but it kind of all went downhill from there, I suppose. But yeah, a bit disappointing for him. What will be his last trip to the Hungaroring. Hey guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and thoughts, comments down below. Follow and subscribe for daily F1 news and subscribe to my channel. It's great, and I greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.